This is Napoleon Bonaparte. His occupation, military leader. This is Zelda Gilroy. Her occupation, husband seeker. Now, what do these two have in common? They're both geniuses. You know how brilliantly Napoleon operated. It's in all the history books. Now watch Zelda Gilroy in action. Barbara Jean, my angel, I can no longer be silent, for a burning question burns in my heart. Will you marry me?
Oh, golly, Dobie.
I beg you, my sweet, speak the magic words that'll stir my heart into joyful melody.
Stop the music.
Zelda, you were spying on me again.
What's fine, Poopsie? I'm merely here to help you win the girl of your dreams, whoever she happens to be this week.
Come off it, Zelda.
Stop me the second I say something wrong.
Zelda.
Young woman, I shall now show you good reason why you should marry Dobie. He's a solid, substantial citizen. True?
True.
So, if you marry him, he won't do strange, unpredictable things. Hence, your life will be quiet and relaxed with no wild, crazy kicks or excitement. True?
True.
Placid, even, bland, homogenized, like baby food kind of. True?
True.
So marry him already.
Yes, so marry me already.
Placid, bland, baby food. No kicks or excitement? Oh, you gotta be kidding. That's strictly Dullsville. See you around, Buster. Thanks, Zelda. You're a pal.
Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean. Zelda, that was a mean, low, sneaky trick.
Yeah, how about that? What, you poor blind fool? When are you gonna stop trying to squirm away from me? I'm zeroing in on you, lover, and when my mind's made up, I'm a tiger.
What's the use kidding? Zelda Gilroy has an IQ that ranks way up there with Einstein and Dr. Schweitzer and Jack Parr. So how come, with all that great mental equipment, she hasn't trapped me? Well, I'm not one to brag, but there can be only one explanation.
Plain, stupid, dumb luck.
It sure fools me you ain't trapped him yet, small girl, because you got like a beautiful brain.
Thank you, Maynard.
The rest of you is kind of spooky, but ooh, that beautiful brain.
My brain is bound to come through for me this time. So far, I failed with logic, but now I've come up with a weapon that can't miss.
A baseball bat.
Salesmanship.
Better try a baseball bat.
This book tells how you can sell anything by using the right psychological principles. Listen. First, attract the customer's attention. Second, generate interest in the product. Third, push to get the prospect to put down his money.
I'll take a dozen.
Never mind, Maynard. The same technique that sells a refrigerator can sell Dobie on the idea of marriage. Now, look, Dobie's on his way over here now. I'm going to go hide down the stairs and jump out at him. That's part of the first step. Attract his attention. Now, don't tell him. It's got to be surprised.
Oh, boy, I love surprises.
Hi, Maynard. What are you doing?
Waiting for old Zelda to pop up out of the stairs and surprise you.
I wonder what Mom packed me for lunch.
Hello, Poopsie. You notice anything different about me?
You're wearing a new dress?
Dobie.
A new hairdo?
Dobie.
I give up, Zelda. What's different about you?
Okay, you attracted his attention. Second, generate interest in the product.
Right. And what a product. Exciting, novel, trustworthy. Guaranteed to provide loyal and devoted service for a lifetime.
Third, push to get the prospect to put down his money.
Yes, sir. You can make this fascinating little item your very own. Act now. Don't delay. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Well, Dobie? Well?
I can't explain it, but all of a sudden I feel an overpowering urge to run out and buy a refrigerator. Ooh, that's Zelda. When it comes to tracking down her man, she makes the Northwest Mounted Police look like the Keystone Cops. With her around, I wasn't even safe in a classroom.
Today, class, we're going to discuss a subject that is of great interest to all of you, marriage.
I'm getting out of here.
It's no use. I tied your shoelaces to the chair.
Oh, come on now, Zelda. That's the most ridiculous story you've made up yet. I'm not going to sit here with...
Please, Mr. Gillis, no more clowning around. Now, can anyone in this class give me a concise definition of marriage? How about you, Mr. Krebs? I would like a definition that is well-reasoned and thoughtful, and I withdraw the question.
That ain't kind of you, diplomatship. You're all the time saying I don't know the answer. Thought you'd give me a chance.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Krebs. Forgive me.
You like forgiving.
Like thank you.
You like welcome.
Can you answer the question?
Like no.
Like that's what I figured. And now to return from this voyage to a lost continent, Miss Gilroy, can you give us a working definition of marriage?
Marriage is a divinely blissful contractual relationship that unites a loyal, hard-working, devoted female to a fortunate, happy forever after male, leading to supreme joy and rapture for both parties, especially the male. Any questions, Dobie?
That's excellent, Miss Gilroy.
That was my definition. Now would you like to hear my opinion?
I have the feeling we just did. So much for romance. Now to marriage. In most societies, marriage is the commonly accepted, lasting relationship between the sexes.
What he said.
Now, what are the reasons that marriage is so widely accepted? Well, here are a few of them. In the first place, married people live 3.7 years longer on the average than single people.
You hear that, Poopsie? A 3.7 years longer life to be happier in.
All right, Zelda, two can play at your little game. 3.7 years. Hear that, Barbara Jean?
As to income, married people make 14.4% more money than single people.
Viva married people!
Married people are better adjusted emotionally. They commit suicide 31.7% less often than single people.
14.4 and 31.7. You get that, lover? Marry me and you'll be wealthier and happier by a total of 46.1%.
Hear that, Barbara Jean? Marry me and you'll be rich as a princess and do very little jumping off bridges.
So we see that marriage brings more money, greater security, better job prospects, and sounder emotional health. All right, now let's open the subject for class discussion. What do you conclude from all this? What are your general views regarding marriage?
Marriage is the most.
Marriage is tops.
Marriage is dreamy.
Marriage is like nothing.
Mr. Krebs, how can you say that?
It's like easy. All you do is open your mouth and out it comes. Watch. Marriage is like nothing.
Weren't you listening to the statistics I quoted?
Sure. I figure I'll live 3.7 years less, earn 14.4 less money, and jump off bridges 31.7 more often. It's better that way.
What's better about it?
I'll be single.
Bad thinking, Maynard. Dobie, marriage is super, and I was all wrong about it before. It's the most. It's the absolute ultimate.
Oh, boy.
Can I be excused, please, Professor? I want to go call this fellow from the Navy who proposed to me last week. I've been waiting long enough to tell him yet.
Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean.
Anchors away, matey. And now, turning to the psychological factors.
You see that, Dobie? Sooner or later, they all run out on you, except me. So why don't you wise up, mister, and quit fighting?
Never, Zelda, so long as there's breath in this frail body.
Yeah, good buddy.
Dobie, you are destined to be mine, and nothing will stop me. Nothing.
Like hi, good buddy. Where you been all day?
Maynard, I've been thinking.
It's not my line of work.
Maynard, look at me. What do you see?
I better not say. We've been friends too long.
I'll tell you what you see. You see a failure with a bleak and dismal future ahead.
I see all that? Man, I'm like amazing.
What's going to become of me, Maynard? I mean, let's face it, I'm not exactly the smartest fella in the world.
That's for sure.
Don't agree so fast. Also, I'm not the most talented guy in the world or the handsomest. My folks are hard-working, decent people, but they don't have a lot of money or important contacts.
And then your father's mean and rotten, and that don't help. No offense.
No offense. So what kind of future have I got?
Like dismal. You're almost as bad off as me, and that's sinking pretty low.
There's only one chance for me to get out of this rut and be somebody.
Grab it.
I've got to marry Zelda.
Drop it.
No, Maynard. Zelda's been right all along. When I started thinking about what Mr. Pomfret said today, I all of a sudden realized I'd better grab her before it's too late.
You're making jollies, huh, Dobe?
With Zelda's my wife, I'll make more money, I'll be emotionally more healthy, and I'll live 4.9 years longer.
You're pulling my arm, huh, Dobe?
That's leg, and no, Maynard, I'm not. It's now or never for me. Marry Zelda or soup kitchens, here I come.
Attention! Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye!
Yeah, Zelda, you don't have to do that. I've decided
Aha! I've got his attention. Now the
Zelda.
Stir up his interest.
Zelda.
I have here a few audiovisual aids proving that marriage is the most exciting,
Zelda, listen
scintillating.
to me. I've decided
Dobie,
to
I know
marry you.
someday you're going to realize that marry me, you, me.
Right.
Maynard, you heard him. He said it. He's going to marry me. He said it. Witnesses, quick, witnesses. Listen, did you hear? He said he's going to marry me.
She's gonna be tough to marry without you get a lasso and a neck.
Listen, world, did you hear? Oh, Dobie, I knew you'd come to yourself. I just knew it.
Zelda, you were right all the time. Can you ever forgive me for making you wait so long?
Oh, it wasn't so long. 12 years, 3 months, and 4 days, but who's counting? Oh, Dobie, you'll never regret this decision. I'm so happy. I want to turn handspring. I want to run barefoot through the grass. I want to do wild and crazy and dangerous things.
Me too. So I'm going to break the news to my dad. He'll blow a stack.
Blow my stack? No, son, I am not going to blow my stack. I am going to dance at your wedding.
Hey, that's great, Dad.
And after I have danced at your wedding, I shall go out into the alley and cut my throat.
Herbert, that's no way to talk.
How other way is there to talk for a kind, loving father who sees his well-beloved son turning into a knuckle-headed snook?
Dad, listen to me.
Boy, why do you have to get married and fall into that miserable trap? Winnie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Son, marriage is a wonderful thing when the time is right. But you've got to be ready for it.
I am ready.
And that's what I said. And look what happened, Winnie. I'm just trying to give the boy some good advice.
Dobie, if I may translate what I suspect that your father is trying to say, don't rush into this marriage. Make sure that it's exactly what you want before you do it. Use your head as well as your heart.
Oh, Winnie, that is exactly what I've been trying to say. Oh, you have a gift for saying the right thing at the right time. You've always had that quality, even if you didn't have any other. No, there I go.
Dad, this is not a hasty decision. Our professor, Mr. Pomfret, gave us statistics that prove to me how much better off people are married than single.
Dobie, if this is what you truly want, you must have good, sufficient reason.
Of course I do, Mom. In the first place, I'm kind and thoughtful and considerate, and I think I'll be a good husband.
Can you support a wife?
I said I'd be good, not perfect.
And may one ask where the money is coming from?
One may.
Dad, that's a fair question, and you deserve a fair answer.
And Dobie deserves a fair allowance.
Not really an allowance, more like an advance. But we'll pay you back as soon as we can, working here in the store if necessary.
It won't take too long. That Zelda's strong as a horse. Or a pony, anyhow.
Okay, Dad, you know the facts. Now, what's the answer?
I'll tell you what the answer is.
The answer is that your father and I will think it over for a day or two, and so will you, and then we will make our final decision. Fair enough?
Okay, Mom, I'll be glad to wait a couple of days and give it some thought if you want. I'm reasonable.
Good. And Herbert, you'll be reasonable too, won't you?
Him? Oh, come now.
Okay, I'll wait.
Now I'm happy. I know that my two boys will work it out just fine.
Them? Oh, come now.
Maynard, I've got to get over to Zelda's. Bye, Mom. So long, Dad.
Well, Smarty, and what do you think's going to happen when all four of us try to get into the bathroom at the same time in the morning?
Herbert, it is nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. This house has one bathroom. And what house do you think they are going to be living in?
No, Herbert. What I mean is, there's no reason to worry that Dobie and Zelda will get married. They'll talk themselves out of it just as soon as they have a chance to think about it seriously. And if we fight them, it may make things more difficult.
You know, I think I'm going over to that college and make that Pomfret take back all the good things he said about marriage.
Well, that isn't really necessary, dear, but if you want to consult him, I don't see any harm in it.
Just going to straighten him out, that's all.
All right, dear. But promise me, be calm. No violence.
Violence? Me? Winnie, my boy's future is very important to me. I will be calm and gentle as a lamb.
Who is going to punch whom in the nose?
Pomfret, you get my kid over here and tell him all those good things you said about marriage is a lot of rubbish, or you are going to wind up with a mouthful of knuckles.
Mr. Gillis, I consider anyone who threatens force to be a rude, uncouth hooligan.
Getting tired of those teeth you've been using, huh?
Very well, Mr. Gillis. If you insist upon resorting to the physical.
Herbert, no.
You're talking my language.
Although it has been 10 years since I was a judo instructor in the Marine Corps, and I was battalion champion 3 years running. Now, where were we?
I was a rude, uncouth hooligan.
Right, you were.
Yeah, but a rude, uncouth hooligan who's trying to save his son from getting caught in the same trap his old man got caught in.
Herbert!
Oh, Winnie, you know what I mean.
Now, Mr. and Mrs. Gillis, the information I gave the class was not intended to make those young people go charging off to the nearest justice of the peace.
Of course, we understand that.
So, if you will bring your son and Miss Gilroy in to see me, I'll do everything in my power to prevent them from acting hastily.
Oh, you're all hard, Pomfret. And I'm going to have those kids over here quicker than you can say, I do.
I do. I certainly do want to hear what you have to say, Dad.
Of course, I don't expect you kids to pay any attention to my advice. You probably look on me as an old fogey.
Oh, no, Mr. Gillis, really, we don't.
I do.
But if you've got your heads made up to go through with this marriage bit, I think maybe first we ought to talk to somebody who knows all about that kind of stuff, see? And then we'll go along with whatever he says, okay?
Yeah, good thinking, Dad.
We'll find a completely impartial authority, but who?
And now let's not rush into anything, see? Let's take our time. Let's go over and talk to that professor over at the school. What's his name?
Pomfret?
Oh, that's the guy, yeah.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Excellent choice, but he's
Yeah.
always so busy. When will he be able to see us?
At 4:15, he's expecting us.
Believe me, Dobie and Zelda, I realize that the task of advising young people on marriage is a very difficult one.
Except for saying, no, that's a cinch.
However, I have made up a list of the elements that I consider essential in the background of participants in a happy marriage. Now, I would like to check you out and see how you measure up on these counts.
They'll measure up miserable, so what's the use of talking?
Dad, we all agreed to go along with Mr. Pomfret's advice, so we certainly ought to listen carefully to him.
I'm listening. What have I got to worry about? Huh, Pompey?
We shall see, Mr. Gillis. Now, the first item is most important. Are your parents happily married?
What's that got to do with anything?
Children of a happy marriage are more likely to be well-adjusted. Yeah, Mr. Pomfret, my parents are like a couple of newlyweds.
My folks are happily married, too.
Good. You score 100% on that question.
Now, hold the phone. Do you mean that if Dobie comes from an unhappy home, the chances are he won't have a happy marriage?
Well, yes.
Dobie, what makes you so sure your parents are happily married?
What? Aren't we happily married?
Winnie, this is not the time or the place to discuss it.
Oh, yes, it is. If we aren't happy, I'd like to hear about it.
Well, I suppose it would have to come out sometime.
And the sometime is now. Tell me, Herbert. Don't spare my feelings.
Oh, Winnie, I'm sorry, but for years I've been running around on the verge of frustration.
Oh? And how long has this been going on?
Ever since the honeymoon.
Dad, if you were that unhappy, Mom and I would have noticed.
Oh, not from me, you wouldn't, boy. I'm the kind who likes to cry privately, like into my pillow.
And all this time I thought you were snoring.
Pomfret, the answer to your question is no. Dobie does not come from a happy home. Next question.
Next question. Dobie and Zelda, did you have a happy childhood?
Yes.
What's that got to do with it?
Happy children grow into well-adjusted adults and make excellent marriage prospects. Mr. Pomfret, I was extremely happy as a child.
Me, too.
You were a pathetic kid, always sniveling.
No, I wasn't, Dad. I was very happy.
Son, you laughed to hide your tears. You come from that kind of stock. You don't remember, but I do. Morose, sullen, miserable. And why? Because you came from an unhappy home.
Herbert, what on earth are you talking about? Dobie was a very happy child, laughing and singing all the time.
Yeah, did you hear that, Professor? That is why he was an unhappy child, because I got a wife who is always contradicting me. Now, it is impossible for a child to have a happy home life when he's got two parents, one of which is always contradicting and arguing with the other. It figures he has to be an unhappy kid. Next question.
Very well. Did you have a strong affection for your mother?
Yes.
Whoa there, whoa.
All right. Speaking for myself, I had a very strong affection for my mother.
I'm talking about this ingrate here, this fresh kid who never did anything good for his mother.
Dad, I love my mother.
That's true. Dobie was always very sweet to me.
Oh, come on, admit it, Winnie. You are just ashamed to tell Pomfret here that we have an unhappy home and a son who is rotten inside. Well, I admit it. I, who am the rotten father of this unhappy father's kid in the next question.
Did you have a strong affection for your father?
Yes.
And you, tell the truth for a change, will you?
I love you, Dad.
No, come now. How can anybody love me? And that just proves that he's making up the whole blame thing. Next question.
I have no more questions.
All right, and all the answers have been wrong, so let's forget all this marriage jazz and go home. Come on.
Not so fast, Mr. Gillis. You've just given Mr. Pomfret a dramatic demonstration of the love and devotion a father can feel for his son. Mr. Pomfret, don't you see? Mr. Gillis would do anything for Dobie. Lie, cheat, degrade himself, anything.
What?
If he thought it was in the best interest of his son.
I realize that, Zelda. And with such a loving family background, academically speaking now, it would seem to me that a marriage between Zelda and Dobie would have every chance of success.
Hey, that's wonderful, Mr.
How can we ever
Pomfret.
thank you,
Hey,
sir?
wait a minute. What's all this?
Dad, you promised to go along with whatever the professor advised.
Dobie's right. You did promise, dear.
This is the wisest decision you ever made, and you'll never regret it, Papa Gillis.
Zelda, I regretted it before I ever got here. Now it's in spades.
I'm taking down this picture of Napoleon Bonaparte. That's only fair, because Zelda's now in a class by herself. I mean, if she'd been with General Custer, there's no question that the whole thing would now be known as the Indian's last stand. She's unbeatable. So it's inevitable that the day is rapidly approaching when I will be saying two of the truly shattering words in the English language.
I do. Yep, that's what I'm going to say over and like over. When they say, is there anybody who can give a reason why these two should not be married, I'm going to jump up and say, I do. I'm going to say, you're a bank robber, a safe cracker, a trunk murderer, and you got 3 traffic tickets in the last month, and if that don't work, I'm going to faint. I'm going to faint all over the place. I'm going to faint. I'm going to have to give you artificial inspiration.
Maynard, that's respiration and enough. I'm marrying Zelda, and that's all there is to it. Ah, Zelda, my betrothed. How good to see you.
Hi, Maynard. Maynard, how come you don't want me and Dobie to get married?
Well, it ain't none of my business, so I'll tell you.
Maynard, stay out of
No,
this.
please, Dobie. I want to hear what he has to say.
Well, ever since he got engaged, old Dobie ain't been the old Dobie used to be.
Says who?
Says me, I just said it, didn't you hear me?
Continue, Maynard. I want to hear this.
Well, he used to go galloping around after chicks, you know, and pinching flowers off Miss Trigley's lawn to give him, and writing them poems that didn't rhyme, and singing under the windows in the middle of the night, and just acting like some kind of nut. No offense, old nut.
All right, Maynard, since you insist on bringing it up, you're right. I did act like some kind of a nut. I was a perpetual schoolboy, always chasing after a rainbow I couldn't catch. But now that I know my future's with Zelda, I've started to act like a grown-up man. And it's about time, isn't it? I'm calm, I'm secure, I'm settled.
You ain't settled, Dobe. You're like defeated, like scared, like playing it safe, and like copping out.
Thanks, Maynard. Thanks a lump.
You're like welcome, and another
Goodbye,
thing...
Maynard. Maynard was just leaving.
I was?
You were.
Oh, well, so long, Zell. So long, Dobe. Hey, I wonder how he knew I was leaving. I didn't even know I was leaving. Man, what an age we live in.
Maynard means well, but sometimes he sees things kind of funny.
Sometimes he sees things kind of better than anybody else. Dobie, why do you want to marry me?
Huh?
It's a simple question. I want to know why you want to marry me.
Holy cow, Zelda, we went through all that several thousand times.
Please tell me, Dobie. It's important.
Well, sure, if you want. We grew up together. We respect each other. We get along. We laugh at a lot of the same things. We're good for each other.
All true. Anything else?
Well, I guess I could think of some more, but...
What about love?
Love?
It's one word you didn't use. It's a word you've never used to me.
Well, sure, I love you, Zelda, but it's a different kind, a quiet kind, a kind you don't run around shouting about.
And you don't pinch flowers off Mrs. Trigney's front lawn for me either, do you?
Zelda.
Or write me crazy poems that don't rhyme. Or sing under my window in the middle of the night.
Zelda, that's all romantic nonsense.
Right. Maybe being romantic is something you grow out of. But how can I grow out of something I never had?
Look, I never think of doing those goofy things now. Not with you. I feel differently about you, Zelda. Grown up, mature, settled.
No, Dobie. Don't you see? I don't want you to feel grown up and mature and settled around me. I want you to feel young and goofy. I'm a girl. I'm entitled.
But I just don't feel that way about you.
Well, in that case, I just don't feel like getting married.
Zelda, wait a minute.
The wedding is off.
For how long? Till when?
Till my father has to chase you away from under my window in the middle of the night.
Zelda.
Till Mrs. Trigney has to build a great big huge tremendous fence around her flowers to keep you out. Till my mailbox is flooded with crazy poems and not one single word rhymes.
I see what you mean, Zelda.
You'll like it this way better too, Dobie dear. I'm sure of it.
Yes, Zelda. I guess maybe I will. And, Zelda, I'll let you know when to start looking under your window.
Thanks, Dobie. Dobie?
Yes, Zelda?
Don't wait too long, huh?
Oh, hi, Maynard.
Like, bye, Dobe.
Bye? Maynard, I'm not going anyplace.
Sure you are, good buddy, into the blessed state of community property.
Oh, Maynard, didn't you hear?
Oh, and so I bring you my wedding presents. Like under protest.
Yeah, look,
Here's my
Maynard.
petrified frog.
Yeah.
My ball of tinfoil I've been collecting since I've been a little tiny baby. And,
Maynard, look.
my most prized possession of all. The only existing statue carved by hand out of soap of Roger Maris in civilian clothes.
Maynard, didn't you hear? We called it off. Zelda and I are not getting married. Well, what do you say to that?
Give me back my wedding presents, you false pretense.
Dobie, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, Zelda.
Small girl, what would you do if somebody gave you the only existing statue carved by hand out of soap of Roger Maris in civilian clothes?
Wash the dishes with it.
Well, buddy, when you called it off, you done good.
Sing.
Zelda, look.
Oopsie, sing.
Zelda, you promised you'd wait till I was ready.
I am waiting.
Zelda, this is waiting.
You bet your boots. When you get that sudden urge to sing under my window in the middle of the night, I'm going to make sure you're on key, Buster.
Zelda.
Sing.